if Reagan and Bush are your template for a Republican, why are you not a Republican?
I didn't say I agree with Reagan and
Oh,
Bush.
okay.
No, I don't agree with
Okay.
Reagan and Bush.
Okay.
But growing up, that's what a Republican looked
Okay.
like in politics. It looked like
Gotcha.
Reagan and Bush.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm sorry if there are any Republicans out there that want to draw similarities between Donald Trump, Bush Senior, and Reagan. Hey man, you have at it. I'm not even going to tell you wrong. I'm going to tell you in for some work. You got your work cut out.
Welcome to another episode of Civil Disagreement. My name's Kevin Beers, and to my right is my co-host, Michael Green. Today, we are going to talk about how do you identify yourself politically? Are you a left-winger, a right-winger, a conservative, a moderate, a liberal, libertarian? Basically, there's a whole bunch of descriptions out there. Which one do you identify with? So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to attempt to define some of those things. So we'll see where we all are. So I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, how do you identify?
I identify with the Purple Party. No, it's I am a registered Democrat in the state of Virginia, but I kind of consider myself more of a moderate, I guess. I'm sort of in the middle. I definitely can tell you I have never voted Republican a day in my life. But I do agree in that we should have smaller government. Period. In the story. So I know that sounds like a whole bunch of conflict there, but I just I that is just what I believe. So I don't know if that helps a lot of people. That's just what I got going on my side of the fence.
Okay. Well, for me, I consider myself. Well, I shouldn't consider what I consider myself, but I'm a registered Republican, but I really identify as a libertarian. I'm definitely conservative, but I believe, yeah, definitely in smaller government. Actually, for me, government has three jobs: national security, internal and external, making sure nobody's rights get trampled on, and interstate commerce. And that's basically it. If that's all they do, I'd be a happy guy. Now, when it comes to social issues, we'll probably end up talking about that.
I think that's what we've been doing. All these episodes is talking about social issues, but yeah.
So that's how I identify. So I think maybe what we want to do is look at some definitions, basically.
Yes.
What is a left wing person? Let's go left wing. How would you define that?
A left wing. Well, obviously, if you look at what the what's going on in the world today, I guess if you're a leftist, you believe in bigger government. You want more social programs. You want more of these social programs to be controlled by, government regulations, obviously, which means bigger government. A lot of stuff to be paid for by the government. I mean, that's what I get out of a lot of the stances that I see from the liberal talking points.
For me, the way I would define a left wing is basically, here's some social issues. I see there's problems with that.
Okay.
And we're going to fix it by putting more and more laws. We're going to just force everybody who doesn't agree with us to live this way. We're just going to force it with the government. That's how we're going to do it, which blows the government up in size-wise.
Okay.
Also money-wise, because, again, since I am agreeing with your point on that one, like free college, free healthcare, free, basically free lots of stuff.
Yes.
When we were looking at the Democratic debates, I was seeing a lot of leftist ideas coming through where my favorite, Elizabeth Warren. Every time somebody said, "I want this free," she's like, "We can make that happen." I mean, that's basically what I was hearing her say all the time. And to me, that, obviously pandering, but yeah, that to me is left wing.
Okay.
Okay, now what? How about liberal?
I'm having a hard time with that one. I don't. I'm seeing from memes and just how people identify with the right, which we haven't even touched that yet, that the left and liberals are the same thing. And I don't know what I'm finding out is that it's not the same thing. Uh, I don't know. If you guys want to post and tell us what a true liberal is politically, let us know, because I'm thinking that a lot of this stuff that the far left is doing, what we know the far left is really not liberal. I don't think it is. I don't know. I thought I identified with liberals until me and Kevin were talking about some stuff, and I was like, that's not quite liberal.
I see. I break liberals into two different groups anymore. Basically, there's the liberals, which to me is a leftist, but then there's classical liberal, which actually I would identify more with, even though I'm conservative. Classical liberal really is about free speech and basically the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, things like that. That to me is classical liberalism.
Okay.
And that's what I would identify with. But
Yes.
we look at that as being conservative.
See, that's crazy, because I thought that's what the whole liberal movement was, but
No, but it's not. Well, maybe it started that way, but it seems to have evolved into a, well, since we were able to get that, let's go for more and go for more, and now we're never satisfied.
okay.
I mean, that's how I view it. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail right now. I already see it coming. But that's the way I view it. Okay, so let's see. So that's liberal. We took care of. How about moderate? I'll keep moving to the other side.
Well, the moderate is supposed to be the your kind of total line, middle of the road. I don't know. It's yeah, they're supposed to be like the middle of the road. I mean, I kind of think the moderates are like the true conservatives, just in my point of view, because, and I understand the whole point of conservative is they're trying to conserve a certain thing, which means make it smaller, but the deal of it is, I think the moderates, there's a much more percentage of people that agree moralistically and politically about certain views in this country, and I don't know. I just like how we should treat our children. How, what should the government really pay for or have power in our personal? Should they have any real power in our personal lives? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of moderates probably can agree. Versus, if you ask the average American, do you think it's okay to pull out a belt and beat your child in public? I think most people would tell you, no, I think that's wrong. So why do we need the government to make a law about that? You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that is the whole moderate thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a Democrat, or I don't think that's a far right or far left thing. I just think that's just a human being thing. That's why I consider myself more of a moderate than anything. I don't think you need a rule to tell from the government to tell you it's against the law to have relations with your mother. Like, we need the government to put money into making
mean to not have
not have relations. I'm sorry, you understand what I'm saying. But yes, I don't think we really need a rule for that. Like, that's just already, like, we understand that as a people, that we don't need to put government enforcement into something like that. Like, come on, man. Like, some stuff is just stupid.
Well. Actually, that will make the conversation a little more interesting too. If you don't have a rule or a law in place against that, you can't punish somebody for doing it.
Ah.
So that
Oh,
and
so now
we went
now you start getting into the question of what is it that you want your government as a people. It doesn't matter if you're far left, far right, or whatever. My thing is what do we agree on as an American people of what we want our government to have power over then?
hmm
Because who's supposed to be the authority on something like that? Like you
right.
said, if there's no rule,
Right, because it's going to come down to like when it comes to like child abuse.
yes,
Some people say that any physical punishment or discipline, whichever term you want to use,
mm-hmm.
and like if I swat when my kids were little, if I swat their butt, even if it's just a single but sturdy swat,
Mm-hmm.
is that child abuse?
Yes,
That now who draws the line? Where's the line the line
drawn.
drawn on what abuse really is? Now there are some that say any physical handling of your child in a way like that is going to be abuse. Then you have others that say uh, when you look at studies and they talk about abuse, it's usually like you've hit your child 6 or 7 times in a week, or
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
sort of like the whole alcoholism thing. It's like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
drink like 2 drinks a week is okay, but 2 drinks a day makes you an alcoholic. Like,
And yeah. So I mean, they're who and who gets to draw those lines?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's a lot of reports of CPS coming in taking children. Actually, there was a case where the parents were teaching marriages between a man and a woman only. That's the
yeah.
only way you can see it. And they went to school and said that, and CPS stepped in because that's not proper thought, essentially. So where does the government get to step in and say you're parenting wrong? And who decides that? Those kinds of
Well,
things.
we don't want to get off track. We don't want to get. Yeah,
I know. That can be a little bit later.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because that really your ideology is going to determine which way you go on those things.
Yes.
So okay, so we last did moderate.
Moderate.
I didn't talk about me for moderate.
Yes.
So for me, a moderate is really somebody who is essentially sitting on the fence. Between conservative and liberal, or I don't really look at it as between Republican and Democrat. It's really between. I agree with the conservatives on this point, but I agree with the liberals on that point. So middle of the road. I think is a good description for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I identify conservative, the reason I do that is I'm really a moderate, but I agree more with the conservative side than I do with the other side.
I got you.
Okay, so let's go to conservatives. That's the next thing. How do you see conservatives?
Conservatives. Yeah, they're the bougie people.
Wow, you just called me bougie.
They're the bougie people, man.
You want to explain?
No.
Bougie?
I'm just making jokes. It's conservatives are I kinda identify with that also to a certain point, because when it comes to certain practices, like in the financial institutions, things of that nature, I get the politics of that, but a lot of their views are very, very, I don't know, maybe it's because of the people that I have met that literally identify themselves as conservatives. A lot of that stuff is very, very arrogant. It's very exclusive. It's not inclusive. That's the only way I can explain it. I get that the whole premise of it is small government, fiscal responsibility. We could throw all the terms we want at it to make it sound good, but it kind of seems like this proud badge of honor for certain people that have proven themselves. I can't. I can't say it's a cult following because then that's like a leftist kind of view, but is I don't know. It's kind of weird. That's kind of there's some things in that I don't agree with because, like I said, we're not trying to name call or try to personally attack any one person or people in general, but the conservatives just, I don't know, it's people that say it's a right wing thing, but I don't know, it's I think black people in general just have a have a have a have a twisted relationship with that. I call it a cultural thing. I don't know, but what's your take on conservative?
Conservatives, like I said, and I will identify myself more as a conservative than basically conserving what essentially is already working.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to me, that is opposed to liberal, again, in my mind, of being, we need to just change everything up.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't agree with changing everything up.
More of a free-spirited type of, hey, let's just go try this. It's new.
Yeah, but it's like, let's rewrite all the laws just because, in theory, that should probably work.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I see it.
Hey man, we're gonna paint on a new tapestry, and we're just gonna make something new, and we're just gonna make it work, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the hippies at Woodstock, man. We're gonna just make this music, man.
See, I would not be a hippie. But at the same time, I this is kind of weird for me. I'm an engineer, and just in my experience in my career is like, I believe everything can be better.
Okay.
I also believe nothing's as bad as it can be, but nothing's as good as it can be either.
Gotcha.
So there's always room for improvement, and I'm all about improvement. But for instance, Obamacare.
Yes.
Okay, so Obamacare to me was a very liberal thing because it was, 30 million people, 10% of the population, do not have health insurance.
Yes.
So we're going to change it for 300 million people to fit these 30 million in. Now, I don't disagree that those 30 million people should get some kind of health insurance. What I disagree with was changing it for the other 300 million. If it didn't have to happen that way. Now, does it have to happen that way? I honestly don't think it does. But anyway,
I understand your view on that, but I
don't want to get into the issue itself.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is changing everything, and you're saying, well, it doesn't work for 30 million people, and that's true. Let's fix it for those 30 million. Let's not change it for everybody.
The problem. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but see, and that's where being a conservative is like, let's step back, because that, to me, it was also rushed through. Conservatives move so much slower.
Yes, they do.
Trust me, they do.
They do.
They
do.
Yeah, it's like politics inside a church.
Yeah. Exactly. There we go.
You want to change the color of the carpet? Oh, that's a 3-year process.
But
the thing is, when it's done, most everybody's going to be happy with it.
Yes,
it takes forever to get there.
The problem with the history of conservatism in this country is it seems to be one-sided.
Yeah, it's conservative.
No, when I say one-sided, I don't mean one-sided as far as like, oh, it's just one-sided because you have to be a conservative to believe. I mean, like, socially, it seems to be one-sided.
Oh, I got you.
That's what I mean. And again, we're not going to go into racism and all the rest of the other stuff, but it just seems to be, conservative just seems to be really one-sided. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you look at, the history of the following for it and everything, it's like, okay, so how, like, I can honestly say socially, if you look at Democrats and liberals, it is not exclusive on the face of it. Now, their beliefs might be extreme to you and you might not agree with them, but on face of it, you don't look at that and go, oh, only white women join that party. You don't look at that and go, oh, only black people join that party. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you look at the face of what it means to be a conservative, and I'm not saying that there's only white men doing it, but when you look at the authority of it, like, who sits in what positions and who's considered themselves a conservative, like, it's like, wow, like,
Well,
is it only white men that consider themselves conservatives in this country? Like, come on, dude. Like, it's like all the people in the United States of America, and that's all y'all can find to represent y'all in government was white men. Like, come on, man.
okay. Let's move on to right.
Okay, so we went into was it the right wing, the Republicans, the what?
Okay, let's talk about right wing.
Right wing. Okay.
We didn't get to parties yet.
Okay.
Okay. So right wing.
Right wing. Ooh. Yeah. That's the opposite end of crazy. I mean, if we already talked about the far left, so if that's crazy, what's the whole opposite end of crazy? What does that look like?
Far right.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, that's really exclusive. Like, that's like card carrying. Like, you can only be this type of person to join. Like, yeah, like we don't serve your kind. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Like the other end of crazy opposite is that we just gonna burn everything down. We don't like it, burn it down.
so there, that brought up another class I want to bring up. So for me the far right.
Yeah.
I said right wing. It really should say far right.
Yeah.
So the far right to me, that's where I believe the racist will exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying, very exclusive.
Yeah, very exclusive.
You know, to join that club, yeah, you gotta reach a whole new level.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that. Okay, so let's go with Republican.
Republicans.
Now, the obvious answer there is you belong to the Republican Party. But what in your view is a Republican?
That would be Ronald Reagan would be my template. Ronald Reagan and Bush Sr. would be my template of a Republican in this day and age. Period. End of story. Senator John McCain, God rest his soul, and obviously Ronald Reagan and Bush.
Okay.
Yeah. But they are the templates, you know, of what I consider politically what a Republican looks like. How he speaks, what he represents, talking points, everything. Like that's what I consider to be, you know what I'm saying, what they stood for as far as at the time, small government. Now what's funny is supposedly Republicans believe in small government but big military. And the problem is that that's kind of like an oxymoron in itself, because there's no such thing as a small government and big military. It's impossible. You can't have that. You just can't.
Okay, now you said that Reagan and Bush Sr.
Yeah.
are your template for a Republican. Is that what the Republican Party represents today?
I think it does. I just think that the whole Trump thing is throwing... Anybody that thinks Trump represents the Republican Party, or that is what the Republican Party is literally trying to do politically, what he stands for, that is... I'm sorry. There's a certain... I think at the end of the day, each man in America has to take responsibility for his product, how people perceive him, his character, his words, everything. And I really do not think that the Republican Party is personified through Donald Trump. Sorry, I just don't.
Okay, so if Reagan and Bush are your template for a Republican, why are you not a Republican?
I didn't say I agree with Reagan and Bush.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't agree with Reagan and Bush. But growing up, that's what a Republican looked like in politics. It looked like Reagan and Bush.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm sorry, if there are any Republicans out there that want to draw similarities between Donald Trump, Bush Sr., and Reagan, hey man, you have at it. I'm not even going to tell you wrong. I'm going to tell you in for some work. You got your work cut out for you, but yeah, yeah.
Okay, my turn.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, yeah, Republicans. Uh, I don't think they represent that today, which is why I actually identify libertarian now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I believe the Republican Party. I registered as a Republican because of Reagan and Bush Sr.
Uh-huh.
Well, basically because of Reagan. I thought Reagan was outstanding as a president. But I now identify libertarian because to me, the libertarians represent far more of what Reagan was than what the
Mm-hmm.
Republicans do today. I think the Republican Party has gone just they've gone too far away from being moderate. Not that they were,
Hey, that's that word again.
yeah, not because honestly, I often say this. I agree with Democratic causes. I disagree with their methods of carrying it out.
Yes.
I I think Republicans are far better at carrying it out, but they have no ideas.
Got you.
So the ideas come from one side, but the implementation from the other side. And we talked about that before.
Four, yeah.
That the personalities that gravitate toward those different parties tend to be those that carry it out really well tend to be Republican. Those who come up with ideas tend to be Democrat.
Yes.
And again, we need each other. So okay, so we define Republican. Okay, define the Democrat.
The Democrat. Wow. Okay. I can honestly say that what I think when I think of my definitions for the Democratic Party, and again, you guys, we're not trying to literally get into the weeds of what the Webster Dictionary definition of these words are. We're just talking about how we feel politically about what we see and what we think how it represents to us today. But the Democratic Party to me is all the leadership politically that are trying to solve social issues. Republicans, because they are on the stance of smaller government and trying to get certain things done, do not. To me, it doesn't seem like a lot of stuff that they do are trying to solve social issues. Like they'll say they support the military, they support, feeding the homeless and taking care of other certain things like that. But when it comes to like they'll talk about, the unemployment rate and helping, families affected by COVID and stuff like that. They'll talk about healthcare. But when it comes to like real social issues, they're not talking about those issues. They're just not. Like there are no Republican politicians talking about policing. They're not talking about the disparity in the jail systems. They're not talking about or in the criminal justice reform and all the rest of the other stuff. Like they're not talking about a lot of these social issues. Like they're just they don't have a plan for them. They just are not talking about them. But they'll talk about cutting taxes. They'll talk about, helping our military members. They'll talk about helping first responders and law enforcement. They'll talk about, again, the unemployment rate. They'll talk about things like that, but they won't talk about any real social issues outside of that. Okay? Democrats, on the other hand, that's all they're talking about, social issues. Pure social issues. And sometimes their whole platform will only run on one social issue. You see what I'm saying? You'll have some Democratic politicians that literally are just running on women's rights, a woman's right to choose. Literally. You'll have other Democratic politicians running on criminal justice reform, and that's it. That's their big thing. You'll have some Democratic politicians, they'll run on they're running on disenfranchised communities and things of that nature, like trying to bring opportunity and economic reform back into areas where there are none, like what's going on in Detroit or Flint, Michigan, the south side of Chicago, Baltimore. I mean, like I said, we can name a whole bunch of places. New Orleans, just things of that nature. And so, I mean, in short, I just think when I look at Democratic politicians, I think social issues. That's what I think. I think they're running on social issues, social platforms.
Okay, and now I'll agree with your definition. I think Democrats tend to run strictly social issues.
Yeah.
And Republicans tend to be all about economy and basically things versus people.
Yes.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
And I think that's why more men identify Republican, because men are hardwired. Yeah, hate mail, I know. Men tend to think more about things than people.
Yes.
Women tend to think more about people than men. It's a think more about people than things.
Things. Yes.
Sorry, I said men. It's a psychological fact that's in all the studies. Whatever, send your hate mail. I'll give you the email address at the end. But I think that's why it tends to go those routes.
Yeah.
As far as who signs up for what side.
Yeah.
Now, let's define libertarian because
is the unicorn.
This is relatively new for you.
That's the unicorn right there, because I'm trying to figure that out. Like, for real. Basically because of the crap show that was a debate a week ago. I am now forced to seek life elsewhere politically. I don't know. And so I came across, and can somebody please tell me how the Libertarian Party got the porcupine for their mascot? There's nothing about that. Like, where did that come from?
Okay.
That's a random thought. But yeah, what's her name? Johansson?
Jo Jorgensen.
Whatever. I read up on her, and she is like if you were a type of person that only voted according to checking the blocks, like, she fills them all. Like, she literally fills them all. She's educated. She has service. It's like, yeah, like she fills a lot of checking the blocks for President of the United States. And I'm trying to figure out what this whole Libertarian Party is. And I can't figure out, is this the liberals, like liberals left thing, or is she a conservative? Because she fills all the check in the blocks and reads like a conservative. Mm-hmm. But she's a libertarian, and according to everything that everybody keeps saying from the right, she's far left. But she's not.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, she's not. She's not far left. There's nothing far left about this woman. She is as far left as, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say she is about as far left as Barack Obama. And I'm sorry, I know people are going to disagree with this, but Barack Obama is not far left. He's just not. Okay? He's just not. You can say he's left, but he's definitely not far left. Okay? I don't understand where... Yeah, I don't understand where to put that.
Okay, so like I said, I identify as libertarian. I've been studying them for a long time.
Yes.
Basically, with Jo Jorgensen in particular, I agree with about 2/3 of what she stands for, disagree with about 1/3. Yeah. And I would say I think she's more conservative than liberal.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's just it. She's a moderate, is what I come down to with her. She's a moderate. I disagree with some of her stands, but I agree with more of them than I disagree with.
Okay.
When it comes to, because I again, this is something I will say when I have a conversation with anybody. I definitely can't vote for Biden and Harris. Definitely can't. I don't want to vote for Trump either. So what are my choices? Now, Jo Jorgensen, she fits the bill for me. I disagree with some of her stuff, but I agree with more than I disagree with. So she will get my vote.
Yes.
But because of the way our system is set up for elections, there's no way she can possibly win.
I mean, she can, because she's on the ballot.
She can, provided everybody gets together and says, you know what, this is who we want. But
You feel like when people
but we
get
all
to
live
the,
in a bubble. We all live
so
in a
you're
bubble.
saying you feel like when people get to the poll and they see this third option there, they're gonna be like, "Who's that woman? I'm not voting for her."
Exactly, because the news media will not cover her,
Oh, okay.
so nobody knows about her. The little bit that you do see, and we were talking about this earlier, the on when you do your taxes, there's this box
That is true because
that
there
you-
is no media outlet. There is no mainstream media outlet that is covering this woman. Like, if you go through and you literally like spam that page with her stuff, they'll just ignore you. Like, nobody is putting any kind of messaging out for this woman.
right. And wouldn't that be great if she come on our show?
Oh wow, that would be cool.
That would be awesome. Maybe I should put
Yeah.
some feelers out for that.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, look at them two nobodies. They got JoJo. Wow, cool.
I mean, honestly, and what I'm torn.
Hint. If you see this, yes, Joe. If you see this, yes, come to the show. Yes.
Oh, that would be awesome. No, but see, and I'm torn because the way our system is set up, she cannot win unless we could get the word out to everybody that, hey, she's actually running and look what she has to offer.
You know what I like? I like competition. Just like America was just like America's pastime is baseball and our version of football and all the rest of that other good stuff. I want to see a good race, man. Like it.
Wait a second, you mean two geriatric patients can't?
No. You really want to show that this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and that everything is everything is inclusive, and you can do anything you want in America. Literally, the next debate should have all three of them up there. Period. In the story.
Okay, well, you say that, but what about there's other parties out there? They're much smaller.
Okay, then. If somebody is technically on the ballot as of right now, period, I don't care who it is, there is enough capital,
Support.
money, support, everything. There is enough, whatever you want to call it, that it takes to put a debate together. There is enough moolah out there to put every single person on the presidential ballot on a stage and have them talking to the American people.
Right. Because I honestly, I think if she could get her message out, she'd have somewhat of a shot.
I mean, I don't.
Okay, but we're going off on issues again.
Yeah.
We tend to do that because we're very passionate about our issues. Let's go to, there was another group that I thought about, the anarchists.
Oh, man, those guys. Yeah, they got a lot of passion.
They got women. They got women too.
Yeah, they got a lot of passion, man. I don't know who's representing them. What party is that?
Well, they're not. They're not a party. Anarchists, by definition, can't have a party because they're anarchists. That means no rule of law. Basically.
Oh, okay. So that's where the Antifa stuff is coming from, or because I don't know where the. I know the Antifa party grew out of something else, but
an anarchist would be no government at all.
Oh. Whew.
Now,
I don't think we can have that.
I don't think that's even possible.
You're trying to go back to the last kingdom and the days of the Vikings and all the rest of that.
No,
other stuff.
even then, there was a leader somewhere. Whether it was some form of government. There's every tribe on Earth prior to organized governments, I guess.
Yeah.
There was always a leader. There was always someone who had the final say.
Yeah, true that.
So there's always been some kind of government. Now, anarchist is basically you just do whatever you want. Now
that'll never work. Do we not understand?
But some people will identify as an anarchist. So that's why I'm throwing it out there. That's all.
Hey, I'm not telling you. You know what? You're not wrong. I would definitely love for somebody like that to come to the show and explain that one because I can't grasp that.
Well, because our form of government allows for anarchists to exist. Now, if we had anarchy, you couldn't be an anarchist.
No, I'm saying we allow for a person that believe in anarchy to exist, but there's no anarchist town anywhere.
No.
States' rights. Somebody that knows of a town somewhere that runs off of anarchy, please raise your hand. Send us something. We gonna Google your town. Yeah, I'd like to see
Okay,
that.
no, because the fact that you're a town means that you had some kind of organization. It's not anarchy.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like,
So anarchists are not a group,
yeah.
because if anarchists formed a group, it wouldn't be
There
anarchists.
isn't anymore.
So there's a huge contradiction there. But I hear about anarchy all the time, and it's like, hey, okay, let's throw that out there as a group. Let's see. So we covered all the groups basically.
Yeah.
How do we want to proceed from here?
So I mean, like I said,
Well, let's get into some issues. Let's get into some issues.
I want to know what makes Trump a Republican. I don't even understand how he got to run for the Republican Party. That's what I don't understand. Like, I understand why Joe Biden's a Democrat. I understand why somebody like Barack Obama would be a Democrat. I understand why somebody like Ronald Reagan was a Republican. I understand why somebody that is in Congress, like Mitch McConnell, is a Republican. I understand why somebody like, Ocasio Cortez was a Democrat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's just looking at different issues as to how each side approaches them.
Yes.
Or let's do that. What's a good issue to go with? Something. Building the wall. Building the wall. Let's go with building the wall.
There we go.
Okay, so building the wall.
Yes.
If you are a Republican
Yes.
or far right,
Yes.
you're going to be in favor of the wall.
Yes, from what I understand.
Would a conservative also be for the wall, or would they?
No, they would not, because they believe in big government. What they would have did.
No, conservative is.
No, no, because they believe in big military. I'm sorry, wrong words.
Okay.
Because conservatives believe in a big military, but small government, they probably would have found ways to put resources into manpower for the border patrol, and just made a whole new division, like extended Homeland Security, and put them down there. I really doubt conservatives would have probably built a wall.
I think I would disagree with that one, because I think there is proof that walls do help. They don't stop everything. I get that, but
after all the proof of all the tunnels that's already been built, what's the point of the wall?
Okay, how many countries came to us, got money, and we built walls for them around their cities or countries?
That's because that's what they wanted. We're talking about our country.
But they also found it to be effective.
Because there were no tunnels.
Well, the tunnel.
Do you know how many tunnels the DEA finds a year?
But the number of people coming through those tunnels is insignificant to those who are just walking across the border where there is no wall. If there's a wall,
yes,
that's just a physical barrier. It's not going to stop you necessarily, but it is going to slow you down. So the point of the wall is to slow people down so the DEA can get there, or ICE or whoever.
But again, you have to look at the prop. You have to.
Okay. No, don't explain the issue.
Yeah. Okay.
We're looking at it from the conservative side.
You would have to financially prove to me that we will save money by building a wall. So if immigration and illegal immigrants is a problem that is costing us more money every single year, you have to prove to me that building this wall is going to cut that. And the problem that I have with the whole wall thing is nobody is explaining. Everything is a theory on how illegals are taking the money out of the American economy due to either welfare or just all this stuff that's going on. And because of that, it's tapping American resources. So we need to build a wall to stop it from happening.
Oh, okay.
But I can't see nobody is putting any, it's all, to me, it just seems like propaganda talk. You see where I'm coming from?
Okay, of all the conversations we've had, have you never listened to me once?
Yes, I have.
Because I've talked about this many, many times.
Yes, but there's no definitive,
okay.
The illegals that are coming over here raise the national deficit by, you see what I'm saying?
Okay. So that wasn't basic arguments that we've had.
Yeah.
One of them is they're taking jobs away from Americans because they're doing jobs that no one else will do.
Yes, but whose fault is that?
Okay, no. That was the argument.
Yes.
My explanation.
Yes.
Okay. So someone's got to pick cucumbers.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody wants to pick cucumbers.
No. And my kids didn't want to do that work either. And they didn't.
Okay. So didn't want to do that work.
Yes.
Now, if I paid you enough, would you pick those cucumbers?
Sure would.
Okay. If someone is here illegally, they are willing to work for far less money
Yes, they are.
because they can't report the fact that you're not paying minimum wage
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
Because if they report that, then it's like, well, who are you? Oh, you're illegal. You're going back to your country.
My question is,
so
why is there not? And again, I'm going to say this as plain as possible. Okay, why is there not a government regulation put on people that hire illegals?
There is.
To the point to where if you're caught, the fine is so hefty. Let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
This is what I mean by this.
I'll agree with you.
Let me put it this way.
I'll agree with that.
You're willing to spend all this money to build a wall to stop illegal immigrants from getting in. Now, let's look at the impact of that. You're going to put a gentleman in jail for weed for over 25 years because he got arrested for it 3 times. Hold on. He got arrested for it 3 times. You're willing to take somebody's freedom for 25 years because they keep selling weed. Weed. But the person that keeps hiring illegals, it's not their fault. It's the illegals' fault for coming here getting hired by said person. Come on now.
No. I will agree with you.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I agree with you that, yeah, the penalties should be stiffer. Definitely.
And if the penalty was stiffer, I, as Farmer John in Texas or California, am not hiring illegals. You want to know why I'm not going to hire illegals? Because I don't need ICE or some immigration service person coming to my farm and shutting me down and taking my farmer's license.
We're in...
Because I have illegals working on my farm.
Okay, we're in total agreement about that point.
That's all they got to do. They don't got to build a wall. Because if the illegals can't get hired, they won't come over here.
So, to me, what needs to happen,
yes,
not just punish the farmer, punish the illegal also.
And guess what? We won't need a wall because then the message is going to go out that, hey, guess what? Ain't no more work over there. Wow, what's going on? Dude, nobody won't hire us. What do you mean they won't hire you? We can't get hired. Ain't gonna be no rolling trucks rolling in front of hardware stores. You know, you know the stereotype. Hey, I need 2 workers.
Yeah, I get that.
Day laboring and all the rest of the other stuff.
So what I'm saying is, okay, let's say we don't allow illegals in ever, but we build a wall, they can't get in. Whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so someone's got to pick those cucumbers. Okay, so you got to pay enough in wages to make that happen.
Yes.
Which means the price of the pickles or whatever
is going to go up.
It's going to go up.
Yes.
It's just the way it is.
Yes.
I mean, it basically, and I would agree, if you stiffen up the laws, maybe that would eliminate that.
But now that's big government, though. Now you're asking the government to come.
Yes. If the government's in charge of national security, the wall makes sense. Now, also, but at the same time, I think a combination of both is necessary. Because you can.
I don't know. I don't want to spend all that money for a wall when you just don't have to. When you just need Americans to be more, basically fiscally responsible. You have to have. Look, if you're a patriot, you're a patriot. I'm sorry. That is a right wing thing. Come on, we're playing the Star Spangled Banner, and we got the Navy, we got the Blue Angels flying over at the beginning of the game. Come on, let's talk about patriotism now.
Okay. Let's move on to how does the left see the wall?
Okay,
or is that just what you've been talking about?
Okay, so the left would probably see the wall as like they're saying it is racist. It is anti-American because that is not what America was based on. America was based on that basically everybody has a right to try to come to this country to try to gain citizenship and to make a better life for them and their family. Okay? So, do I agree with that? Yes. Because, I'm sorry, y'all can agree, you can disagree with me, and you can send, like Kevin said, hate mail. All of y'all did not come over here through the register of Ellis Island. I'm sorry. Like, some of you, some family names are over here illegally. It got over here illegally. Got over here, like, what do they call it? Stowawaying on ships and all kind of stuff. Okay, so not everybody came through Ellis Island, signed a little logbook, and was like, "Yay, we're Americans!" Like, no, that's not what happened. And then and again, we already know how Africans got here. Okay, so we understand that. So in that, I would think the left is right. I mean, everybody should have a chance to come here and try to live the American dream. Okay, now, does that mean that we should support sanctuary cities and all the rest of the other stuff, and we should allow illegals that are here illegal to thrive and do other stuff? I don't know. That's a hard question. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to, because again, the only reason they're here, other than people trying to get a better life for themselves or their families, is because there are people that have made a opportunity for them to do that. Okay? It just is what it is. You can't get mad because a person came here illegally because of a situation that was made by people that are now mad that their children can't profit now. If you have to understand, there's a certain construct. I understand we're talking about politics, but there's a certain constructs in place that has created a vacuum because our children don't want to do that work. I'm sorry. What did you think was going to happen when you paid farmers not to grow corn? Where did that come from? What did you think was going to happen when you told everybody they had to go to college and nobody was passing down agricultural skill sets and passing down the family business and telling people or putting money into the fact that, hey, you can work on a farm and make money. You can pick cucumbers and make money. Nobody seeded into that. It just went away, whether due to inflation or whatever. But the problem is we still needed that stuff. Nature abhors a vacuum. That's the whole thing about capitalism. What happened was capitalism, just like me and Kevin agree that capitalism works. It works. What happened with capitalism in America? We screwed ourselves by not seeding into our agricultural product the right way as far as manpower. And now foreigners want to come in and make money off of it because we created that vacuum. We created an opportunity for foreigners, for illegals to come in and capitalize off of what we don't have. We made that. And so now we want to correct it by putting a wall up. Come on.
Okay. So I will, but whether or not we won the wall or not, but the left. Okay. So
you see what I'm saying?
I want to go to a couple of your points on how the left would see it.
Yes.
Basically saying it's racism. Okay. First of all, I want to go right there.
Yeah.
When we talk about building,
I'm sorry. Part of it's racist because of a certain comments that was made about Mexico.
Okay. But that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
It's my turn to talk.
Okay.
So I want to counter that particular point because when we talk about building the wall, we're only talking about the southern border.
Yes.
Now, that is not racist because who's coming from the south? People with brown skin. If we had
this is gonna go bad.
If we had a problem with people from Canada trying to get into this country, and we needed to build a wall there, is it still racist? Because but the thing is, nobody from Canada wants to come here.
But the problem is, they do come over from Canada. Listen to me. They've had actual illegals.
Yes,
and being documented as saying, "How did you get over here?" Oh, we came in through Canada. What?
Okay, and I'm not saying that all, because there are illegal people here who are white. I get that.
Yes.
I'm saying all illegal immigration is an issue.
Yes.
But we're only talking about building a wall. We're not talking about everybody else now. Right, and that.
Yes.
See, and that's where this whole conflation occurs. Is that when you talk about building the wall, that's racist because everybody who wants to cross the wall on the southern border or across the border on the south is brown. Well, yeah, they are because they're coming from a different place. If they were coming from the north, and some do, I'm not saying they don't, but if the conditions in Canada
Okay.
caused people to want to come here illegally,
Okay. So let's get this. Let's put it like this. The reason that it seems racist is because you find a problem with certain illegals, not all illegals.
and I agree.
That's why it's racist.
I totally but building the wall is not the racist part. If we treat all illegals the same,
but we're not. That's why we're just building a wall.
Well, building a wall, it takes care of the southern border. There's other things that need to happen because.
But that's not the plan.
A large portion of illegals are here because their visas ran out and they didn't go home. That's going on. So
there's a ton of that.
Yes, and it should be easy to track those people down.
But there's no plan for that. Nobody is being put on flights and sent back to Europe. Nobody is being put on flights and being sent back to Asia.
And they should be.
But that's not a plan. Look in those detention centers and tell me how many Europeans and Asians you see in there.
Yes, I will agree with that.
So that's what makes it racist.
Oh.
The actual outcome of the plan makes it racist,
we can't,
not the proposal. The proposal was fine. What happened was we looked at the proposal and said, hey, man, this looks racist. No, it's not racist. Oh, okay, show me. They put it into action, and what did they do? They got detention centers full of Hispanics and Latinos.
Because it's all along the southern border.
Because that's the only thing they want to concentrate on. That's why it looks like that. If you tell me if
you look at the statistics, that is the majority.
If I do,
so we're working on So
it's the majority because that's what they concentrated on. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, it's the majority because that's the most coming into the country.
Okay, you believe that, but what I'm saying is...
No, I believe that because the stats show that.
Yes, the stats show that because that's where they're concentrating at. How many ICE agents go out there and look for expired visas?
It's not a
matter... And put those into the detention centers.
It's not a matter of looking for them. It's a matter of the visa expired. That person did not go home. We know that.
Yes. So why they're not in the detention centers?
Well, that's a very good question.
Exactly. They did was they literally went up and rounded up a bunch of people that were illegals, and they only did it by race. That's how the detention centers got so full so quick. They literally would go past a specific place in California. Ooh, look at all those Mexicans. Let's go get them and see how many are illegals. Nobody put a file down or some paperwork down and said, hey, these are all the expired visas. Hold on. These are all the expired visas. No matter what race they are, these are just expired visas. I need you ICE agents to go around and find these people.
That is still not the majority of people. And I'm not saying that we have to see attacking 100% of the problem is going to be a lot harder than concentrating on one section. And one section has a particular gateway. If you can shut that gateway down. Now, the others, definitely needs to be worked on.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it shouldn't be worked on. I'm saying it should all be worked on, but you do have to prioritize how you do it.
My question is, how is illegal immigration a problem if you created the problem? I cannot get mad. Listen, this is what I'm saying.
That's not what you've been saying.
That's what I'm saying. We created our own problem, and then we're trying to say that the reason we have this problem is because a group of people just said, oh, we're just coming to America off the top because we can just take their jobs and do. We created the problem. We created that economy.
Okay. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
And who created that?
America created that problem. We created it. We literally created that problem. When I say we, America, I mean me, we. It's our country. We created that problem. And then we sold it back to America and said, hey, guess what? There's a problem with illegals coming across the border. What do you mean? See, look how they keep coming across the border and taking our jobs. No, that's not what happened. We created the problem. We created a vacuum where they could get paid. We gave them the jobs. And instead of taking responsibility for that, politically, we sold it back to America like it was a drug problem that manifested outside of America and came in. No, that's not what happened. You paid your farmers not to grow crops. You raised inflation to the point where the price of certain things went up, like fuel and all the rest of that stuff, to where farmers could not afford to pay farm hands that were literally American citizens. Because I'm sorry, if I'm an American citizen, white, black, Puerto Rican, or whatever, and I can get on welfare and get paid the same amount of money I get paid for working out in the hot sun in Southern California all day, I'm going to get on welfare. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. That's a whole nother issue. But I agree.
You see where I'm coming from? So what ends up happening is this farmer still has to get those strawberries picked. Who's going to pick them? Again, your daughter, my sons, they're not doing that work. Okay? Wow. Guess what? I got these guys around here and they're going to do it. And not only are they going to do it, but they're going to do it for a third of the price.
Right. And I don't have to report that on
and
my
I don't
taxes.
have to report that on my taxes. I don't have to do anything. So now the federal government comes in and tells a voting base, hey, guess what? You want to know why your white son or your black son or your American children don't have jobs working for that farmhand? Because the illegals took it. That's propaganda. The illegals didn't take anything. Our economy and the way we do business created a vacuum in it, and there you go.
And what I'm saying is, if illegals are, well, and then I guess the laws have to be stricter,
yes.
The fines have to be higher, whatever it takes.
Yes.
If illegals cannot do the job, it will drive the wages up to the point where people will be willing to do those jobs. And yeah, the food's going to cost more, and we're all going to hate that.
Yes, it is.
But that's just it. What will happen is, whether it be new inventions or whatever, something's going to come along to cut the price of.
But we don't need the wall to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we need the wall to do that.
The reason I brought up building the wall was
yes.
because I know the left and the right look at that really differently. And since we're not talking about the issue,
yes,
we're actually talking about
yes.
left and right.
Yes.
That's why I brought it up. Now, we're not going to sit here and solve that because you're not going to listen to me.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, it's kind of like what the right did. Like when you hear the right talking about the wall, they talk about it from a standpoint as the problem is with these illegals.
Okay, so okay, I wanted to bring up the libertarian viewpoint on immigration. I actually don't know what it is. So
that's another thing. I don't know what the libertarian standpoint is on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I just don't. I just know that this woman that supposedly represents the Libertarian Party has a great resume.
She's actually in favor of open borders.
Ooh.
And I disagree with that one.
Ooh.
However, like I said, like a third of her things I disagree with.
Yeah.
But 2/3 I agree with. So, it's one of those things like we often talk about. You have to pick the lesser of two evils.
Evils, yeah.
I don't see her as an evil. I see her as okay. I agree with 2/3 of what you're saying. So I'm really good with that. The other third, we'll talk. Kind of thing. But that's just it. That how okay. So we're talking about how you identify. We're getting off on the issues again.
Yeah.
We can't do that, and we're actually running out of time now. That the wall is just one issue. Now, okay, so we said the left and the right. We already know Republican versus Democrat on that one because it is pretty much left and right also.
Yes.
Same kind of thing. The Libertarian, I don't know if the entire platform is open borders, but Libertarian really tends to be more of a just do you, I'm going to do me, just don't step on my rights.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I identify that way, because that's how I look at it. They advocate for the same kind of government I want. I can disagree on the issues with the Libertarian candidate. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother thing. But the party itself stands for really limited government, and I'm all for that. So that's Libertarian. Now, far right, far left. Again, okay, I can already tell you, far left is open borders. Far right is completely closed borders. Don't even let people visit here.
Yeah.
If they don't meet, if they don't meet, if they can't check certain boxes.
unless you're from, I guess, Britain or Europe somewhere, Northern Europe.
And even then, it depends on some other stuff.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're gonna leave it there. We want this conversation to continue. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about, a lot of issues we can talk about. There's just a, but tell us, how do you identify and why do you identify that way? And if you want to bring up an issue and discuss it from different points of view, Mike leans to the left, I lean to the right, or I should say I lean conservative, you lean, I don't know what, you're a little more conservative, but you lean left. So
yeah, it is what it is.
So there's a lot, because one of the things that we do in this country, or maybe it's more the news media, but we look at Democrat, left, far left, all those things are the same thing, and they're not.
No,
they're
they're not.
And then on the right side, you got right, conservative, Republican, alt-right, all the same thing. They're not. They're all different. So, and libertarian, nobody knows how to classify it, so they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And therefore that entire party gets ignored, even though Jo Jorgensen is going to be on the ballot in all 50 states. So she has enough support for that. And like Mike said, why is she not in the debates with the two of them? I mean, honestly, she could run circles around both of those candidates. But
she probably could.
she's not
Yeah.
she's not going to get even a chance to do that.
Yeah.
And Jo,
I do think that's totally unfair, man. We keep talking about how great this country is and all the equality that's running around here. And if you're American, you can do anything. I wouldn't want to live nowhere else. But constantly, every single time you see a national deal, you start seeing all this inequality when it comes to governmental functions. I'm sorry, you just do. I don't understand why everybody thinks it's okay. And again, I'm not telling you you're wrong because you're a Republican, but you're not going to sit here and preach to me about equality when there's a system. Literally, that's what we're talking about, inequality. When there's a system in place that stops her from being on a national stage to just freely debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Come on, man. That's BS.
And these rules are set up by whoever's running the debate. They set some of these rules up. There's committees that are out there that have to be made up of Republican and Democrats, and they can vote unanimously on things.
Yeah.
And yet what they're voting on is typically discriminatory against anybody who's not a Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I just, one last thing I want to say is, Jo Jorgensen, if you see this show, give us a call, contact us in some way. We would love to have you on this show.
Oh yeah.
And we will. Our audience is small right now, but honestly, that could blow it up, and we can get it out there for you. We will do everything in our power to get it out for you. Mike is actually brand new. I mean, I mentioned your name to him many, many times. And today he walks in my house and he's like, "Who's this?" And he didn't know your name. Sorry.
I was like, "Yeah, who's this chick with the porcupine libertarian people?"
And so we were talking about that, and he's on board with you too. So
Well,
he's willing to talk.
Yeah, I'm willing to talk. Yeah.
Okay. So that is our show for today. Definitely hit us up in the comment section. We want to know what you're thinking, what your deal is, who you identify with. Just let it all out there. We really want to hear from you. And that's all I got. You got anything else today?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so then we are out.
Peace. I'm just here chilling with my man K-Dog.